I didn't start cutting until late. I think the first time I cut myself was at the age of 19, but I started self-inflicting pain into myself around like 8 or either 9 years old.
What exactly were you doing when you said you were doing that?
What happened is my father, he instilled a nasty fear in me that when I was in my room, I would either hide under my bed and wait till he like pace himself to sleep, or I would just sit on the bed and wait. But you know how the hallway light is on, so you can see the footsteps,
Mm-hmm.
and every time I seen that footsteps, that fear, that bulge in my throat, hard to swallow, would come over me, where I was fearful of it, and it's hard with that kind of anxiety. It's hard to go to sleep. So at times when he finally passed out from whatever drugs he was taking or whatever liquor he done took or drink too much beer, I would get up and it was kind of like a ritual. I remember him doing certain things. He would bring out the 45 records, play old Marvin Gaye, Gladys Knight, Moments, Stylistics, old school music, and zone out. I wasn't doing drugs yet, but I would get into that mode. I would zone out, and I would listen to the music, and it first started when I would play with the live stove. I would turn on the stove, and I would play with the live fire over my hand, and the burning sensation on my arm would hurt, but that pain would remind me that I was still real. It was almost like I had to feel like I was alive. So I would burn myself over the open stove. Um, then it started with, I used to play with water, and I used to get a cup of water and stick my hands in the water, and I would play with the sockets, and I get shocked, and that shock used to always get me, and it started gradually over until it manifested itself into me cutting.
Were you the only person in your house going through that? Were you doing that by yourself? Or were you
That
doing
was
that?
by myself. I remember one time I had all these records out. I think I went a little bit too far that day. I had all the 45 records out, and the old songs was playing and stuff like that on the record player and the turner, and I fell asleep. I passed out on the couch listening to it, and my mother must have got up around like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, looked at me. It probably was the weirdest scene in the world. She probably seen her 10-year-old son like laid out listening to old school music, 70s songs. She picked me up, put me in the bed, tucked me in, and she never even mentioned anything about it. Like she knew what was to come because she's living with it.
Mm-hmm.
She's sleeping with a man that does this kind of stuff. That loses friends constantly because he's constantly in the streets. So he loses friends, he gets drunk, he listens to music, he goes out, does crime, and then he passes out like that. It's almost like a ritual. So when I lost my first friend, show pass, I played baseball with, was at 12 years old. He was from a projects, and I guess they had some type of rap battle over near 155th, and where the barrel park was at, and someone threw a bottle and hit the wrong person. They had a gun and they opened fire, and he got hit like twice in the back of his head. When he got hit, he died.